All right, so we are going to jump right into the five highest impact moves for roofing contractors that are wanting to get found and start to get some market share off of the AI chatbots, ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Claude, all of those sorts of things. Before we get rolling here, I'm Bruce Leffler. I am the founder of Best Roofer Marketing, in case you don't know, and the co-founder of the Best Hustler Academy, alongside my partner Deshaun Bryan and Coach Nick Brannon. We are working with contractors all over the country in the roofing business that are looking to streamline their sales teams, and they are a sponsor of our podcast today. So, with that being said, I've been in the digital marketing industry for this is my 21st year now. Had a very big corporate run, and one of the things we wanted to start doing in 2026 through Best Roofer Marketing is really providing value-based webinars and intensives for contractors that may or may not be ready to look at exploring a digital marketing agency, but they understand keeping up with the trends and the times is going to be critical. At the rate at which marketing is evolving and AI is growing, we felt like kicking this off with an AI-driven type model would be really beneficial for everybody, and the number of attendees today has been fantastic. So we're going to try to unpack over the next 30, 45 minutes or so what the five highest impact do-it-yourself type moves are that you can actually jump in on. So with that being said, give me 1 second here, and we'll get going in just one moment. Sean, I'm going to allow you real fast. Did you have a question? Is everything okay? Sean, you had your hand up. Did you need anything?
No, sorry.
Okay.
I didn't
All
mean to
right.
hit
No
it.
problem. Yep. No problem. All right. Cool. All right. Here we go, guys. So we're going to jump right in. Appreciate you attending today. Let's get rolling. All right. So this is pretty cool because I was able to share a little bit of this with our current Best Hustler Academy students, the contractors that are already in the academy last month. But we had the privilege to run some models across a couple of different data sets. We did some research on Google, we did some research on ChatGPT, and on Grok, and they were all pretty consistently in tune with the fact that the number of online searches on Google is actually going to get surpassed by ChatGPT and Gemini and these other platforms in 2028. So we really are looking at a 2-year runway before the volume of people looking on AI platforms for their daily needs, including terms like Roofer Near Me, who is the best roofing company in Waconia, Minnesota, or Noonan, Georgia, etc. That's going to surpass Google in 2028. And so what I want to do first is to start to kind of unpack why AI is so popular compared to the tried and true search engines that have been around for the last 15, 20 years or so. Number one, if you think about when Google came out, they actually came out at the death of the Yellow Pages and the birth of Google was kind of simultaneous, right? And this all happened in that 2004 to 2008 market crash timeframe. And Google, in its current state, is, or in its, I should say, its current state through the last couple of years, nothing more than an online directory, right? You pay to be at the top, and then you pay to be in the middle, and then maps based on where your proximity is. And then you have all of these kind of trust signals that allow you to rank organically below the map section on the Google search page. But if you think about tried and true, what is Google really? It's just a directory of 20 different options for you to choose from. And whether you choose a paid ad roofer, whether you choose a local maps roofing company, who's you, this is giving you options to go do your own research and make a decision. In many cases, AI eliminates that by just giving you the answer. Hey, we've scrubbed all these data points and we are making a recommendation that this is who you should call in your area, given the type of query you had. There's a lot more thought put into it, and there's a lot more trust. But what I do know is that the internet has made everybody very judgmental and very lazy. So we want immediacy. We want the information given to us right away without having to take any extra steps, click on links, look at websites, deal with bad websites, go to good websites, call people, wait on them to call back. We are just looking for the answer as fast as possible. And so that is theoretically why the AI engines are growing in popularity at such a clip. This is like a rising stock market and a boom versus kind of the steady growth that you see with Google dating all the way back. So I'm positioning this as though we have a 2-year runway to get ahead of the AI and make sure that our companies are found in our local markets ahead of other people. And what we're going to talk about today are some things that you can do to give you the best chance of that happening before 2028 arrives. So if we're on a 24-month countdown and we're 2 months into this thing, it really is go time. So first and foremost, we do a lot of tests at Best Roofer Marketing, my agency. And one of the things that we have found is that much like Google, all of the AI platforms appreciate and reward complete authenticity. So having authentic, this should say media, it says video, authentic media strategically distributed across all of the different channels that are available to you is going to help build trust with the AI platforms to recommend you. Because what we're doing as AI is we're going out and we're scrubbing all these different types of media sets of businesses to find out who should we really recommend. And we're doing this in nanoseconds, right? Fractions of seconds. We're making decisions. What happens though is that there's 3 types of companies. There's companies that just use stock canned photography or videography and they don't really do anything authentic. Then there's the middle of the road roofing companies that we invest in the media. We get the great photography and videography, like we'll hire a Best Roofer Marketing, Best Roofer Media, or somebody else to come out and capture all this great content. And then we just dump it on our website improperly in many cases to slow it down. And that's where it lives. But then there are the third types of roofers that understand that you need to have like an omnipresence approach. You need to be found everywhere. If you want to be the best known roofing company in your local market and in your community, you need to be available whenever, wherever people are looking on whatever devices are preferred to them. So what we're going to talk about here is not just taking authentic photography and videography and housing on your website, but what are some other platforms that we can distribute this across to make sure that it's getting viewership and that we are getting our message out there. So the distribution is going to help you get found in places like this. This is a Google AI overview. So when you put in Google, you'll notice that every type of SERP or search engine results page in 2026 can look completely different. And the more and more AI evolves, they're more custom to you. That's why we'll oftentimes talk to customers in our at the prospect stage of considering Best Roofer Marketing to help them. And they'll say, hey, when I search around my area, I see myself all the time. What you see versus what your customers see can be completely different, right? There's things called preferred search. And that way, if you're on your website, you're at your office with your IP address, you might see your website all the time, but the neighbor across the street who's a potential customer of yours may have no clue that you exist. So when you're looking at a SERP or a search engine results page, for queries like roofer near me, which is a top term, that is really going to just bring up the directory of roofers to call, which is great. Those are more bottom of the funnel potential customers of yours, and they are ready to get somebody on the phone, get an inspection placed potentially or a roof repair quote, and really put you to work. But then there is the research phase. And this is coming back to brand building. So when you ask more detailed or specific questions, Google oftentimes will put up what's called an AI overview just as a starting point. And it's going to give you a lot of different information. It's going to give you some bullet point considerations at the top, but then on the right-hand sidebar and on the bottom, it's also going to pull in these videos. How can I tell if my roof needs to be replaced? That's a very educational question. That potential homeowner could be in a lot of different places in their journey. They could have heard from a door knocker that said your roof needs to be replaced and they didn't trust them, but they wanted to start doing their own research. They could be very analytical. We call them an analyst as a personality type, and they are just forecasting what they're going to do with their tax return. They could be anywhere in the potential journey, but if you are able to get your videos found and distributed, an educational video, not a sales pitch, not a commercial or a Facebook ad why somebody should call you, but really just answer questions along the way to get people to engage with those videos. Google and other AI platforms are going to start to reward that, and they are going to pull them into the search engine results. So now if you were to click on this video, not only is it somebody answering when I should replace my roof or how can I tell if my roof needs to be replaced, but you'll see on the bottom here, it cuts into exactly the point of that video, 58 seconds in, where that question is answered. So that's how good AI is getting. So if you have authentic educational video or media that you want to put out, putting it on your website is a great point, but you should also put it on YouTube. You can run authentic photography in your pay-per-click ads. So a lot of companies are spending money on sponsored ads for Google to generate phone calls. And that's great. All three of these are paid sponsored ads at the top. But as you'll see here, roofingcost.org and Dr. Roof, they have photography. Their ads stand out a little bit compared to roofingcalculator.com to me. So having authentic photography from your business integrated in your ads campaigns is another way that you can actually distribute that. One of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit later is FAQs and FAQ type questions on your website, but the same format applies to an educational video. So when should I replace my roof should be nothing more than this is a 12-minute, 1-second video of somebody touching a lot of different questions around when you should replace your roof, because it's not a simple answer, right? There's a lot of complexities to that. So should I replace my roof when it hits a certain age? Should I replace my roof when it discolors? Should I try to replace my roof before the warranty expires? Should I replace my roof after a hailstorm? Whatever that is, these are a lot of questions you're going to answer in the video along the way. And where you get that content for both your FAQs and your videos is right here on Google. So I would challenge every attendee today that's here, when you get off of this call, go back and put in a Google query like this, and then scroll down until the people also ask question. Those are the questions that you want to answer in your videos. Those are the questions you want to put on the FAQ section of your website, because Google is telling you there's also demand for this particular question. So they're giving you the answers to the test. So when you're sitting there and you're struggling on what should I talk about, I want to do video, I want to be found in AI, I don't know where to get started. For our customers at Best Proof for Marketing, we provide a lot of content, not scripts, but the types of things they should be answering based on the type of business that they want, the area of the country they are, and the time of year it is. Because if you are in Minneapolis right now and there's snow all over the ground and you are wanting to put out relevant content, then you might want to talk about ice dams or frozen gutters, or how to, prepare your roof for coming out of the spring where it's had snow on it for the last month. But that same topic isn't going to be relevant to a customer in West Palm Beach, Florida at this time of year where it's sunny and 70 or 80 and the birds are flying around. So think about who your audience is, what questions are relevant to the type of business you want to attract in the area you live during the time of year it is. And then you can come here and you can actually look at the people also asking. You can see what questions are in demand, and you can start to use this as guidance. You can also have, for inexperienced sales reps, because I'm also a sales coach in the Best Hustler Academy, you can have a repository on your YouTube page of simple questions. What are the most common objections we hear at the door? What are the most common things homeowners ask us when we do a door knock if we're canvassers? Or they call us and ask us if we're doing retail and we're spending money on marketing to get the phone to ring. Have all of those questions answered by the strongest, most comfortable and confident person on your team. That may be the owner, it may be the father of the owner, it could be the spouse of the owner. Answer all of these questions, put them on a YouTube library, and have them ready. So instead of having your inexperienced sales rep at the front door trying to educate a homeowner on a question, he can just pull up his tablet and say, hey, I got that answer right here. Let me give you the real answer from the smartest guy on our team, instead of fumbling through their words. And this is a way that can help you convert more, because you're still displaying the same message, but you're displaying the message from the closer. You're displaying the message from the best hitter on your team. So that way that person is not struggling to get their talk tracks down, but you're answering it with confidence. And now they are really just facilitating the introduction between the homeowner that they want to serve and the company, and they're not trying to be a master expert level closer. So a YouTube repository that you can pull up at the point of sale is helpful. The short answer is, guys, that this is an AI generated image. So this will tell you why they are facing their headboard and their nightstand. But I thought that was funny. But here's the thing. This is a really kind of a true story of how my wife and I, We get into pillow time mode. She may be looking at Instagram or TikTok reels that humor her. I may be doing research on YouTube or watching a podcast that's more educational or work related. You want to hit people in as many places as they could possibly find you. And you want to have this great content, but not just go all in that, yeah, we only build our Instagram. You really want to think about all of the different places you can get your message out there because different social profiles, different ways of educating yourself, different ways of searching are completely different from husband and wife, completely different from father and son. So we are all different in how we consume our media. And the more places that you can get your message out there, the more likely your videos are and your authentic media is going to get consumed. Number two, you can't just do a video and slap it on YouTube or slap it on a social media platform and assume that it's going to perform. The goal of your videos should be to get viewers. Anything else that comes beyond that, the likes, comments, subscriptions, all of that's great and ancillary, but you really want to get your message out there. And the more educational, non-salesy it is, the better. So one of the things that we do through our AI visibility model is we professionally optimize these long-form educational videos. There are certain frameworks that are recommended to get your YouTube video optimized to get it more engagement. Because when you think about how Google is searching, they're going to go out now. It's a lot different than before where they're just looking at websites. They're pulling in YouTube videos. They're pulling in Instagram videos or TikTok videos into actual search engine results feeds. And the more places that your video is not just out there, but properly optimized, the more likely it's going to get shown. So here's an example of an optimized video. First and foremost, and this is just a portion of it that we could fit on the screenshot. This isn't the full optimization, but you'll notice here is just video marketing. So it's FAQ based or question based. Then we'll also put here, learn more about Viz, and we'll put a link to where there's more information. We'll put a call to action. We'll put, what are some best practices that people could potentially look for? We'll put the hashtags in here. There's also ways that you can have segments snippeted just by pushing a button in YouTube, and it will now kind of put your video into different chapters at different breakpoints, answering different questions. So what you want to do is go to ChatGPT, unless you're, working with a company like us that knows what they're doing, at least ask, what is the best practice to consistently optimize? Help me create a template to consistently optimize my YouTube videos for distribution so they're most likely to get found not only on Google, but on ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini and the others. And that's exactly what we did here. So just as an example, what you guys can get, I put in the question, is there a best framework to optimize long-form educational YouTube videos for roofing contractors so they are recognized as authoritative for AI and AEO, which is answer engine optimization? And the answer is, and I'm going to read it to you, it's yes, the best framework is one that turns each long-form video into a structured machine that's readable as an answer object for Google and LLMs, which are another way to say AI. And this high retention YouTube asset, meaning getting people to like and trust your video and watch the entire video, which gives you more points in the algorithm. So here's just a simple framework. You research the questions and entities, not just the keywords, meaning you can't just throw a lot of keywords into your video optimization, just like 15 years ago, we called it keyword stuffing, where people would just take a bunch of words, write horrible content that wasn't authentic, and they would put it into their website. And for a while that worked until Google wised up and said, hey, that's really just a bunch of jargon. So here's a simple script you can use. So the first 20 seconds, the outcome and who's it for, that's kind of like your hook. Hey, have you filed a Minnesota hail claim? Here's what to expect in the process. 20 to a minute 30, it's just a quick diagnosis checklist. Like, hey, here are the things that you want to see. The main sections, you want to answer each one of those sub-questions like we told you, the FAQ style, answer the questions along the way. You want to show and cut in proof blocks. So your authentic media, videography, testimonials, incorporate that into your educational videos. And then lastly, give them a decision. And the decision should never be either choose us or don't choose us. It should be choose us for a repair, choose us for a replacement. Choose us for an asphalt roof or choose us for a metal roof if you want to upgrade. Choose us for a roof or choose us for a roof siding and gutter combo. You want to give them two options as you close it out on ways that they can use you because they just spend a bunch of time, and time is more precious than money, investing in you and along the way building trust if you do this process right. So you've got them on the hook to potentially want to use you. And I promise you, nobody's watching long form YouTube videos about roof replacements if they're not in the roofing industry or if they're not a homeowner in consideration and or business owner in consideration. So give them the options A or B, use us this way or use us this way, not use us or don't use us. Hopefully that's helpful. We'll keep moving right along. Number two, we touched on this a little bit earlier on Google and the search engine results page, FAQs, frequently asked questions on your website. This will help build your website's authority. One of the things that we've started doing is instead of taking just little FAQ sections on the home page or internal pages like we used to do, we are now building out entire pages dedicated to answering all of these additional questions. And then we add more fresh questions over time. We write the answers, we link them up, we do all those things, and we even categorize them. So in this particular customer, we had one that had roofing, and then we also had an FAQ page for siding as well. Right? And these are different types of best practices when you're building a new website that you can actually get into is adding FAQs to the website and categorized. Like this one's just all about roofing. There would be another all about siding. So that goes back to, again, this search engine results page that we shared with you earlier. People are also asking additional questions around the topics that you want to talk about. This is your answer, guys. This is the meat and potatoes and gals of what you want to write content about, what you want to talk about on videos right here, because there is already volume of people looking for answers to these questions. And as you can see here, nobody's doing a really great job of answering this. So how can I tell if my roof needs to be replaced? The three best, most authentic videos that Google could find and pull in were done in 2020, 2022, and 2023. So January 29th of 2023, this video is over 3 years old, and this is the most recent one that was properly optimized at the authority level that Google would like to see, is already 3 years old. So there's a lot of opportunities here, and you don't have to be the world's best video editor. A lot of times the algorithms prefer the minimally edited videos and them just being more authentic. But at Best Roofer Media, we're going to teach you that the number one thing to get started is just to go for it. Your videos will get better over time. So my business partner, Deshaun Bryan at the Best Hustler Academy, he's the founder of the Roof Hustlers. This black guy, bow tie, polo shirt, and he's unapologetically authentic. But one of the things that's cool about him is because he has a dialogue, he just got it started, 6, 7, 8 years ago and remained consistent. You can see the quality of the videos improve, right? He started hiring better and better editors, and then he started putting out more content. Then he started refining his content. And so your videos will get better over time, but don't let perfection be the enemy of good, meaning don't sit on the sidelines and have trepidation and fear to get started. I don't know if they're on today or not, but we have a new client that's in the academy out of the Minnesota area. And I'd mentioned in a training a month ago about YouTube and the importance of this. And now I'm already seeing him posting videos on YouTube and them showing up in my feed. He just kind of got out there. Are they perfect? Not yet, right? And now he's a client of ours and we're going to be optimizing and that sort of thing. But he got started. And that's 99% of the challenge right there. So when you're thinking about educational content, educational videos, the number one thing you want to realize is you just have to get started. Number 3 of the top 5 most important power moves, brand authority pages. So one of the things we do through our visibility program, which is our productized AI service at Best Roofer Marketing that we rolled out at the beginning of January, is we actually help you build out a brand authority page. So not just a headshot of yourself, but this is going to be an extensive bio of yourself, right? And we can take your LinkedIn profile and we can connect it in and we can optimize your LinkedIn profile. But Google is now looking for their EAT signals, expertise, experience, authority, and trust. They are looking for people who really know their stuff. So if that's you and you're the owner of the company, the good news, bad news is you probably need to be the face of this if you want to rank in AI, or have somebody that's in the family, the wife, the older working child, have somebody that you know is going to be around a long time and really pour into building out their brand authority, because personal branding carries more weight than ever before with not only Google, but with all of these AI platforms. So having a brand authority page properly built out on your website that has a lot of information about you is really checking those boxes for Google and the algorithms and for other search engines and the AI queries as well. Hey, does this person have any experience? Are they an expert? Do they have a brand authority? Right? And can we trust them? And you have to, if you want to be found in AI, start to spell that out for the AI models by pouring into this with your marketing and really punching out your personal brand. It's equally, if not more important than your company brand at this point. So now, again, things are shifting. We're not saying that Google's dying by any means. Google's the world's largest data aggregator. They're a multi-trillion-dollar company. They're not going anywhere. But if you want to start to attract new homeowners and new clients from AI chatbots and get out in front of this thing before that volume surpasses Google in 2028, then now's the time to start implementing these sort of best practices. I can tell you a funny story. So I got a friend who bought Google 20 years ago, and now he's a multi-billionaire, lives down in Siesta Key, doesn't have to work, right? Couldn't afford 20 years ago to buy the Google shares that he did, or else I would be in the same boat. But this is an opportunity to get your brand and your company's brand in front of the AI search engines and chatbots and queries that maybe you missed on the Google. Google is very crowded right now, and very few companies are actually offering practical best practices and solutions that will get you found more and more consistently in the markets you serve on the AI platform. So we do a lot of extensive research. I personally pay several $1,000s a month to be a part of a mastermind program with other agency owners, and AI is the hottest topic that we're all sharing best practices and what we learn and so forth to make sure that you guys, as our contractors, are set up for success. So here is the CEO of ABC. I share this to say, doesn't have to be the most beautiful page on your website, but it should exist. You can have an About Us Meet the Team page, but you really need to have about the expert, about the owner, who's the CEO, who's the face of our company. Same thing here. President and CEO of Cinemark. So you can see here that when I put in a query in AI, it brought me to their page, their website. It actually highlighted the opening line for me, right? And it talks about his expertise and experience. Been around since 2003, been the CEO since 2021. So there's a reason that the big companies are doing it, and there's no excuse or no reason why the smaller roofing companies shouldn't follow in suit. Number 4, reputation signals. So this is going to be a tough one to wrap your head around because I know what you guys are thinking. Man, I can't even get my guys and gals to get reviews on Google, and you're asking me to get reviews outside of Google. And we're not. What we're going to do is just tell you that they carry a lot more weight than ever before, especially with the AI engines. So if this is important to you, I would suggest that you just get ahead of this now. Let me tell you what this means. We're going to show you a screenshot in just a second where we put in, looking for a roofing company in XYZ city. And Grok, who is Elon Musk's AI chatbot, right? It actually went out and scrubbed 90 data sources in a microsecond. And the top 3 that it pulled back information from were Yelp, Angie, and the Better Business Bureau. So having reviews more distributed across different platforms, not saying Google's not the most important, you still want to get your Google Business Profile reviews. What I'm asking you to do is push yourself, stretch your team further to get more reviews on a broader scope than just Google. And we're going to give you some best practices on what that looks like. So when you're thinking about AEO, you're thinking about what are the reviews that are most important. And getting reviews on Google, you can get reviews on Facebook or Yelp. Yelp actually powers Apple Business Connect, which is now for Apple CarPlay, all the people driving around in their vehicles with Apple Maps on your display screen. That's very important. They're big players in the space, and Yelp didn't carry a lot of weight in our agency's eyes as recently as a couple of years ago. And now we have an agency partner relationship with them for this particular reason. Angie, same kind of thing. Very authoritative directory. Not necessarily saying go to Angie and run ads. What I'm saying is that you need to have a properly built out Angie listing. And if you can get reviews on it, you want to do so. Better Business Bureau, same thing, because we are not just going to Google. Google owns Google reviews. So Google really cares about Google reviews. These chatbots do not own or have a tie-in with Google. So they are trying to universally go across all different platforms and say, hey, who's got good reviews everywhere? That's who we really trust. That's who we're going to recommend. So reviews on Facebook used to not have a lot of weight. I would get them now. Better Business Bureau, get reviews. Yelp, reviews, important. So what does this look like, and how do we get more reviews on different platforms from the same homeowner beyond just Google? First, I'm going to explain why reputation signals like Yelp, BBB, Angie, Google Business Profile, and other trusted directories play a critical role, right? I asked this question. And what it says is when Chat, Grok, Gemini, Perplexity, when they generate recommendations, they rely on consistent, that's the key word here, consistent business data, verified reviews of authority listings, and third-party validation across the web. So Google, if you're just trying to rank on Google, cares about Google reviews, right? Does that make sense? Platforms like Yelp, BBB, and Angie, they serve as trust validators for AI. They confirm your company not only exists, but it operates in a certain area, it has real customer feedback, it maintains measurable reputation. So for roofing companies, you want to have consistency across your NAP. Name, address, and phone is the term that we use, NAP, in the marketing world. Not only the review volume being consistent, but having a positive sentiment. You know, everybody above a 4.5 or a 5-star rating. Are you categorizing your reviews, and are there authority in the domain mentions that you're actually getting? So these are all things that chat and the AI chatbots are looking for that matter when making a decision. So I just picked a random company. This is not our client. I just started typing a name for a roofing company. This one came up, so I went with it. So if you're not familiar with what meta descriptions are, or title tags, or NAP, here's what I'm going to tell you. The easiest way to look at this is Google your business name. And if you see, in this case, Atlantic Roofing Solutions, LLC, Atlantic Roofing Solutions, all caps with Lowburn, Georgia, Atlantic Roofing Solutions, Atlantic Roofing Solutions, Atlantic Roofing Services, that means that you have inconsistent NAP data. It is going to be really hard for the AI chatbots and Google to be able to validate that you are who you say you are and to find you. One of the things that we do through our agency is we clean this up, right? We hit the top 300 directories, and then we go manually claim directories, and we are looking for consistency across the board in the directory listings. It carries a lot of weight with being able to be found. So how do we get more reviews? So Mav City Restoration, we created this as a dummy card. And one of the things that we wanted to do, this is not currently active yet, right? It's in design, is have a offline solution that people on your team can hand out. So our agency, we would design a card if we were working with you like this. We would link it up to all of the manual directories that we claimed for you, Google, Facebook, Angie, Yelp, Better Business Bureau, Nextdoor. Link it to your directory listing. One of the big misnomers, right? There's all these myths out there. There's myths that, you know, if a criminal asks an undercover cop, if they're a cop, they have to say, yes, that's a myth. They can lie. Same kind of thing here, right? One of the myths is that when you are actually trying to get reviews, that you can pay people for their time, and you can pay people for the reviews. You're not supposed to do that, but you can compensate people for their time. So we have found a philosophy that's ethical, that rewards homeowners or business owners, if you do a commercial job, for their time by leaving you a review. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, listen, I'm very appreciative to have had the opportunity to do your roof. And, you know, one of the things that helps us get found by other homeowners and really helps me is getting reviews across a lot of different platforms. So here's what we do at our company. It's a little bit different to just reward you as a small gift back. It could be, and you set your own parameters, right? It could be $10 for a review, up to $60 if you do all 6. It could be $25 a review that mentions my sales rep's name, up to $150 if you do all 6. And try to get them to give you a couple of reviews, because they may have accounts or logins for 3 of these, right? I know I'm on Google, Facebook, and Yelp. I don't need to create anything new. I can at least go hammer those out for you. And the other thing is, you might be working with homeowners that are affluent or business owners that are affluent. No, $150 doesn't really move the needle for me. For my time, I make $250 an hour. I'm not going to waste my time getting reviews from you. They think that, whether they articulate it or not. So one of the things that you can actually do is make a donation to the charity of their choice because people genuinely are good people. So I'm going to give you a script real fast that we created in the academy that we know is proven to work. And I would encourage you to use this or try this with a similar style card. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, could you please do me a huge favor? Now, the reason I ask guys for a huge favor is because generally when you ask somebody for a review, you're asking them to take action. Essentially, you're asking me to work for you for nothing in return. Hey, would you leave me a review? No. Job's done. I've paid you. I'm over. We're good. High five. Have a good day. But if you said, hey, you know what, Mr. Homeowner, listen, I've enjoyed working with you and getting to know your family over the last couple of days, and I'm glad you're really pleased with the roof. Could you please do me one huge personal favor? It'll only take a couple of minutes. It is very hard for somebody to look you in the eyes and say they're not going to do you a favor. So strategic positioning at the point of sale, ask for the favor first, and then get them to commit and then unpack it. Personally, I'm being held accountable to give reviews from our best homeowners like you. It helps homeowners find and choose us online. If you'd be willing to just take 3 to 5 minutes of your time and leave me as many reviews as you're willing to on this card, it would really mean a lot to me. It'd be so appreciative. And the cool thing is, we're going to send you a thank you for your time, not for the positive review. Be honest, just for sharing your experience, whatever it was, with working with me and my team. So we can either send it to you, or the cool thing is we'll make a donation to a charity on your behalf. So the more reviews you leave, the bigger the reward, and most people just knock out all 6 for me. It's simple, it's direct, and it's confident. Here's the thing, I do pretty well, right? But I also coach a travel baseball team that is my own and my own brand, and my son's on that team. He's also going to France this year with Team USA in martial arts. Even though I do well, I'm going to be raising money to help support these massive sports travel goals that he has for his little, sports career. And so I think that if you put in the positioning of the local donation, hey, I normally wouldn't do this. I'd leave you one review because you were nice to me and then help you out. But I'm not going to sit down and take 5 or 6 on the couch while I'm watching Monday Night Football. Now, if you said, hey, we'll make a donation to a charity of your choice, and I turned around and said, well, would you make a donation to my son's travel baseball team? And you said yes, I would probably rethink that. I would take the card, I would sit down on the couch, I'd hammer out 5 or 6 reviews for you. And just know that every time I spend 5 minutes, logging in or creating a password or setting this up, I'm getting $25 for my son. That is going to get you the reviews, and it's going to get the homeowners to take action. So this script is included. We'll make sure that when the playback goes up, everybody can see this. Another old school way of getting reviews seen is posting a reviews page on your website. Here's the challenge that I push back against this philosophy. We write content on websites to quickly answer homeowner questions, but more importantly, it's for Google and it's for AI, if I'm being honest, right? Very few people are hitting your roofing company website and wanting to read everything about you. It's just not that interesting. Nobody ever had a king of the hill, front yard, in the driveway, kegger blowout because you got your new roof done and you want everybody to come over to admire your asphalt shingles. It doesn't work like that. So they have a need and they're there. But one of the things I think that should be flipped, instead of just taking an old school integrated widget and putting it on your website and porting in your Google reviews, which has no real SEO value, why don't you have this same QR code set up on your website and have a reviews page? So now you have the offline tool and you have a digital tool that, hey, I'm just going to text you over our reviews page of our website. It can be bookmarked on every seller's phone. And you can say, hey, listen, just click these links on the website, and you'll be able to leave us reviews on all those platforms. Make it really easy for you. I really appreciate your time. It helps me so much. Position it as though they are helping you, not as that they are just going to do a task for you for no cost. So moving on, just kind of a recap here. So when you're thinking about building trust with AEO, you want authentic media. You want reputation signals beyond Google, right? So getting reviews on multiple platforms. You want to have a personal brand or authority page built out. Proper YouTube and video optimization all along the way. And then website FAQs. Now, I would challenge everybody, if you're not doing all of these or any of these today, start with one, build in a little process, get it going on your website, or, at the end of this, we'll give you Dawn's information. You can set up a call with Dawn on our team. She could tell you all about how to do this or how we could help do this for you. But start with one if you're trying to do it this yourself, if you don't have a marketing budget and you're not wanting to hammer it. But I would get started on something, because I can promise you guys, as long as the day is, I've been in this industry for 21 years, 2027, 2028, 2030, whatever the true number is, there's going to be a day at the rate that this AI is growing that it surpasses almost everything. And you are going to want to get your company found. And the best way to do that is start in the early days, adopting these best practices and remain consistent. Don't just look for the quick wins. Don't do something on here for a month and you do 1/5 of the equation, and 30 days later, you're still not at the top of any ChatGPT query you do and think it's not working. Because what shows up for you, again, could show up differently for somebody else. You are establishing with all platforms, AI, search engines alike, that you are the trusted authority in your market. You are there to dominate your market, and they should be recommending you at all times. So here's what I want to show you is a comparison of results. So on the far left, we did a query that's Gemini. We just said, who are the top 5 roofing companies in Waconia, Minnesota? Some of the names that come up are NextGen, Rowan, Evergreen. If we go to the far right, that's ChatGPT. So they pulled up Mav City, Foss, Rowan, Pudus, and Wild Prairie. And then if you go in the middle to Grok, Grok is the one that actually displays the data sources. They looked at 90 sources in a microsecond to make their decision. Angie, Yelp, and Better Business Bureau were some of the top 3. And Rowan, Capital, Eagle, NextGen, and Iron River were there. So some of these have more overlap than others, right? ChatGPT pulled in a map to make their recommendation because we put in the city name. Gemini did a different, and they actually gave a little bit more bullets and not just links to the website. So they're all a little bit different, but some of these that you'll see, Rowan has consistency across all 3 of them. They're being highly recommended. I don't know the guys at Rowan. I'm just letting you know what's out here, right? So know that your results could always look slightly different as this AI is figuring things out. But again, going back to with conviction, telling you that if you are consistent in your processes, delivering on these top 5 things, you will start to get value. So who are the best roofer marketing companies for roofers? Who are the best marketing agencies for roofers was the exact query. Best roofer marketing showing up along with a lot of other, reputable and notable type marketing agencies. But there's a lot of effort put in to trying to be here. And the cool thing is we see roofing companies coming to us from Grok, Gemini, and ChatGPT the most, a little bit of Claude as well. We are finding that we are getting found, and it just starts with consistency across the board. So with that being said, we are at the conclusion. Here's what I want to do. I have the VIP room is going to open up at 12 o'clock for all of the VIP members. If you paid for the VIP, you should have received an email this morning with a link to join. I know there was a handful of you guys. Go ahead and feel free to click on that link. I'm going to go over there in the next 5 minutes. I'll be there 10 minutes early. You can come at 12 o'clock, but I'm going to stay until 12:10 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are interested in having an AI discussion, learning more about our visibility product, feel free to reach out to Dawn Gaddy on our team. And she's amazing. She is not a high-pressure saleswoman. She is a consultant. She has been helping contractors grow and scale. She's worked with hundreds of them over the last 5 years. Not only is she a digital marketing ninja, but she really just provides a high level of service. So if you want to explore what something like this could look like for your business, feel free to schedule time with her. I'm going to leave the QR code up for another 10 seconds. Go ahead and scan that now and then schedule a meeting on her calendar. And I'm going to actually stay in here for 5 minutes and I'm going to answer questions through the Q&A. So if anybody wants to ask a question now, even if you didn't pay the VIP to come into the room and have open face-to-face dialogue, feel free to go ahead and drop some questions in the Q&A channel, in the chat now, and I will make sure to answer them. I'm going to hang around for just another 10 seconds for you to get Don's QR code. Yes, great question. Yep. Yes, she should be available. Yes. Okay. All right, cool. So stop sharing. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, leave them now in the Q&A section. Go ahead and add in your questions and we will answer them along the way. Yes, yeah, that was just a little graphic. So what we do is we actually send over the graphic. We create it, we link up the QR codes and that sort of thing. And then we will send it over to you guys and you can print as many as you want, right? Some people hand them out to everybody on their from their sub crew to their sales and project management teams to make sure that they get distributed. It's just a little tool, right? It should be bigger than a business card. We used to make them for business card size when they were just Google reviews. But now because they're linking to all six, you can actually hand them out. The review cards, metal versus paper. Somebody brought to my attention the other day, they thought that it would be a really cool magnet. I think if it was designed a little bit differently, we're, recommended that people get 5x7 printouts so you can have them in mass for a lot of people to hand out on your team. But somebody else brought up that if it was designed a little bit differently, it could make for a cool magnet as well to maybe hang on the fridge. So I don't know if there would be something of value that a homeowner would want to put that on their fridge in its current design, but we could certainly look at if you're working with us at Best Free for Marketing, we could look at designing them a little bit differently. Is website still a first lead gen source? Do customers convert if they come as a website lead? Yes, for AI, websites are getting brought in a lot. We have had some customers request for us to put tracking numbers on different directory listings. We don't really like that. We would rather just use tracking numbers throughout the website because of that consistent map issue. But we do see that they will come in and convert as website leads as well directly from ChatGPT, and we can actually see the origin source of where they came from. We got one the other day for a customer in West Virginia that was from Grok as well. Turned out to be a pretty good job. Great question. How do customers normally go to roofing company websites organically? Well, that's a good one. So when we say organically, what I would suggest is, we don't lead with social media ads over here first. We're more Google ads driven and organic SEO, people that are in research phase and doing it. But there is a lot of traffic brought in from organic posting consistently as well that we'll see people come in from the different social channels, heavy on the Meta, of course, because they're the most dominant. So Facebook, Instagram, Daniel, that sort of thing. But I would say that one of the things, whether you're doing marketing on your own or whether you're doing marketing with an agency, if you're leveraging an agency, they should be able to put the tags in your website that can actually find out the origin source code of everything. So like when we're going through our reports with our clients, we'll be able to tell if an opportunity came in from true SEO, if it came from Google Maps, if it came from an AI engine, if it came from a paid ad, if it came from a social ad or what have you. And you should be able to get back to that source. I don't know if that directly answers your question, but I would still say that, we're seeing them primarily coming in on the organic or what we would call organic, primarily still from Google SEO. Yes, we will actually be posting the replay of today on our site under webinars. That page is being built out because this is the kickoff webinar to our series. What is the percentage of budget a roofing company should have? Also, loaded question, Harris. I would say that we coach through the academy and at Best Roofer Marketing that if you are in growth mode and you're sub $5 million in revenue, that 8 to 10% is a good revenue number, top line gross sales for a growth-minded agency or a growth-minded roofing contractor that actually wants to scale. Once you get past 5 million, then that number can generally be 3 to 5%. I know one of the coaches in the academy, he grew his business completely to 13 million and had a very successful exit, always doing a 5% budget. Some people break it out into I do 5% in digital, I do 5% offline. That could be truck wraps, billboards, TV, radio, networking groups, paraphernalia for the local parades and that sort of thing as well. But we usually say 8 to 10% sub 5 million if you're growing. That's a really good question, Daniel Cloto. What percentage of personal versus business videos to build your brand on social media? I pushed back on this in the early days because I just wanted to share content that my team was distributing on our business pages. What I found is that each of the algorithms works a little bit differently, and I would say that you really want to have a dedicated officer of your company or founder or person building their personal brand in tandem. So I wouldn't say that it's a 50-50 split. But I would say that if you're doing reels and stories, if you're going live on your phone, if you're just pulling out your phone without editing and just going raw, that's going to help your personal brand because it's a different network. And the more people that will view and engage with your personal brand, the better off you're going to be. So it's a little bit less salesy when you're building your personal brand than when you're sharing stuff from, Cloto, now you know, right? And your guys' business page. And I know you guys as well. So I don't know that I have a particular personal percentage versus business page sharing to build your personal brand. But I would say, again, going back to everything, it's consistency in the brand building is what's going to help get you noticed. I can share the most electrifying thing to me about Best Route for Marketing. All right, this can be just incredible, earth-shattering industry news that I think is amazing, and it can get 2 likes. But I can share a picture of my daughter or a video of my son from a karate tournament or a baseball game, and it could get 150 likes and have thousands of views and go micro viral. So different type of people in your network are going to consume it differently. But I just had a great consultation because we've invested in a sports agency and a podcast, just a personal side project that I wanted to do. And we were able to just have a consult before this call with Blake Ruffino of Are You Serious Sports Network and the Ruffino and Joe Show. So he has 2 wildly successful podcasts. That's all he does full time for his business. And he was saying, look, subscribers, likes, that kind of stuff is important, but people are either going to subscribe or they're not. They're going to like your content or they're not, but it doesn't mean that they're not seeing it. And what really matters the most for engagement and for value is the views. So if you're going to get more views on your personal page by doing a post on your brand, then I would put out something through your business that's branded from your business page and relevant. But then I would talk to it from a personal perspective, from your positioning, and just say, hey, you know what? My team shared something today about Cloto Roofing, and we had this, and I wanted to give you my personal take on it and kind of tie it back into that, right? So again, I don't have a direct percentage number that I can give you, but I would say that it is now equally important to really go deep on investing in somebody's personal brand in your business. That's a great question. What's the answer to the objection? I don't have that platform to leave review. What if they don't have any of the review platforms? I mean, I wouldn't like sit on them and force them to do it if they're not going to do it, right? You still want it to be a good engagement. But if you are consistently running into that objection, I would just say, look, are you not established on any of these? Do you have a Yelp app on your phone? You don't use Google, you don't have Facebook. Then I wouldn't beat them up over it. I would just move on. But I would also say, hey, you know what? Going through the process myself, it takes 2 minutes just to go leave a review on Yelp or to leave a Better Business review. If you just use our name, you don't have to log in. You can still leave one on Better Business Bureau. But really understanding what it takes to go through each one, the best way to do that is to look at where your company is set up on each one of those platforms. If you don't have them, establish a business page. Like what we're doing with our visibility product for our new customers is we're going and manually claiming these directory listings and we're setting them up for them on a shared Gmail. And then I would say have, your spouse or have an employee go leave a review on each one of them and really uncover what those objections are, which ones were simple, which ones were a little bit more needy or complex, and then just be able to answer that at the point of sale, honing in on it. But I know for sure it's easy to leave a Better Business Bureau review. It's easy to leave a Yelp review. Facebook reviews are the same kind of things. Everybody has Facebook. Even if you don't use Google, you have Facebook. So everybody has Facebook, but I wouldn't turn what should be a very positive interaction into a negative or forceful engagement after you've already got them happy. Because if it becomes, I don't want to say hostile, but if they are giving you that objection, they're probably the type of people that are less likely to want to do it. If they seem really engaged and want to do it, then have your guy help them set up the platform real fast. I mean, it takes just a couple of minutes, right? So if you've got a sales guy or project manager there, it's in their 20s or 30s, they can easily help them create a Nextdoor app or download it on their phone or whatever, just leave you the review. But it should matter. And a lot of companies are giving internal rewards to their sales team for reviews that mention their name. Some companies do it up to 2 employees. So you can mention up to 2 of our employees and they'll get a little spiff as well. At $25 over time consistently could be buying somebody's some 25-year-old sales guy on your team's newborn's diapers, right? And so they'll go a little bit further for that if it's incentivized internally as well. But that's the best answer I got for you, man. I wouldn't I wouldn't make it a negative conversation, but if they seem really genuinely interested, have them spend 2 or 3 more minutes and go create the platform and get it set up. Good question. There's a lot of platforms out there for sure. We picked those as the top six that we've done research that could move the needle. We're still having an internal debate on the value of Nextdoor and if it's really doing that. I can tell you that a big one for engagement, and it's a little bit excruciating. I started working on it myself as well, but for your own personal brand building, Reddit is a really good one. Reddit has a lot of popularity. They do have a lot of authority with the AI engines. The challenge with Reddit is you get karma points for engagement. And when you're in Reddit, you have to be hyper consistent on engagement, meaning that if you're going to go in, post a question that you know people are going to have an opinion about, even if it's slightly controversial, go back and answer some of the top questions. But you can't do a post on Reddit once a week and get traction. If you're going to pick up and become a Reddit user, there's a reason why they have a cultic following, because it can be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but it can provide a lot of value over time because Reddit is seen as authority or authoritative. What do you think about video boxes with a few testimonials, brand message video for homeowners to look at while your inspectors on the roof? Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's a really, really, really good idea if you're equipping your team with tablets, put those things to work. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, I'm going to get up on your roof, and what I'm going to do is entrust you with my equipment. Do me a favor. Watch some of our testimonials or watch a little bit about us and our company while I'm doing the inspection. That's going to proactively, as we teach in the academy, eliminate some objections. Because some of the objections they might face are you local to my community? Do you have positive reviews? How long have you been doing this? Who's the owner that maybe founded this company 50 years ago that I can't see because he sent a brand new rookie green sales guy to my door? This answers a lot of that. So again, going back to authentic media distribution and the part of that we touched on earlier, buy some tablets for your guys and really, test it out on a few and get feedback before you deploy it. If you have a large sales team of 10, 15, 20 people, get a couple of your top producers, get them tablets. Maybe you make it an incentive that, hey, I'm going to give you a tool that's going to cost money. It's going to cost me to keep up with on a subscription model to keep Wi-Fi on it. But I'm going to give you a tool if you sell X number of dollars in a month, or if you are in the top 5 this quarter, give them the tablet and have them actually handing it to the homeowners on your YouTube page or on the informational pages on your website that actually educate a lot of those homeowners with the proactive objections that they could be facing, lowering their guard. So you're continuously selling while you're on the premises. And so it's not a 20-minute gap of them going back to the husband and the wife says, yeah, I really don't want to invest money. We got our kids, Sweet 16 or quinceañera coming up. We don't want to spend the money right now. And eliminating objection, give them the proactive answers to those objectives. That's a really good question. All right, guys, we are at time. Thank you very much for attending. We're going to do another one of these in April. Hopefully you got value out of this today. The replay will be up in just a couple of days on the website. Stay tuned for that. You'll be able to get that distribution out. And I'm going to hop over to the VIP room, and I'm going to meet with the owners that paid for the VIP over there so we can have some open Q&A. So thank you, everybody. Hopefully this was valuable, and we'll see you again soon. Have a great day.